everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Fantasy Football Expo podcast. As always, I'm Bob Lung from the Fantasy Football Expo, wearing my Raiders today, which that's my other team. I have to root for the Browns, but Raiders have always been my other team. And always a big fan of Al Davis and the old school Raiders. Today's Raiders is okay. But anyway, I got my shirt on for that today. But excited for tonight's guest. These guys are going to be new to the Fantasy Football Expo this year. It is Masterson and Dan Gentile from Bettle. Guys, welcome. Thanks for being a part of this. How's everything going? I know you guys are excited about NCAA tournament tonight, so we're going to get through this quick so you guys can watch. Is like what one of your alumni? Are you like an alumni of one of these teams that are in?
No, we just have action everywhere. We're
always true. Always
right.
playing.
That's what you
always
are.
Playing.
Right.
We do.
So we'll kind of just start off like we do with all of these so far. Is tell me about your experience of getting into the fantasy football world. Now, just looking at the both of you, I know that I've been playing longer than you've been alive, or at least pretty close. So we won't go to the fact that I started in 1985. But tell us when you got started in fantasy football, and what got you into it. Was it friends, family? What got you into it? So Dan, if you want to start, let's go forward.
Yeah, I was one of those kids growing up that I played every sport under the sun, but I knew what my limitations were. My dream wasn't to be, sure, maybe my dream at some point was to, be the shortstop for the Red Sox or something like that. But right around when I was 7, 8 years old, I shifted that dream to something that felt more tangible at the time. I wanted to be the GM of the Red Sox. I wanted to make trades.
7 or 8?
Yo, yeah.
Wow,
I was
that's
from
high aspirations for a 7 or 8 year old.
Yeah, well, what did I know? I didn't know what it actually.
No, you obviously knew a lot. If you
I wanted to trade. I was playing, Ken Griffey Jr. baseball on my N64. So that's when it really the itch started, and then that led to 11 years old, 12 years old, maybe when I did my first fantasy baseball league. I actually was a fantasy baseball player before football, and then from there it was just kind of uphill or downhill, depending on how you want to characterize it. But I've just been playing nonstop ever since. It just scratches that itch for me, and I get to compete with my friends. It's a great way to stay in touch with all the people that I went to college with that I don't see as much anymore now. So it's become an important part of, the social dynamic of my life too these days. So I love doing it. I'm going to do it for as long as I possibly can.
Awesome. Ty, what about you?
So yeah, similar story. Although I'm a little older than Dan, so I was actually born before you started playing fantasy. Surprisingly,
84,
83.
Okay, all
right. So not too far off. No. But very similar story to Dan. Just an absolute sports enthusiast growing up my entire life. I always wanted to be a GM of a team. In terms of fantasy sports, the rise in popularity of it kind of corresponded with my when I went to college. So it was the way I kept in touch with my high school friends. So when my first fantasy league was with a group of 11 other kids from high school, that was a way we kept in touch as we all went off our different ways in college. It was football to start. But yeah, I've been playing, dabbled in a bunch of other sports since then. And as I mentioned, we've taken that beyond just traditional fantasy into a number of different ways to just, again, get that action that we would be getting if we were the GMs of teams these days.
Gotcha. No, and I think, people always ask me what got me started. I said, well, basically I've been a Browns fan all my life because of where I live in Northeast Ohio. And I said, the Browns really sucked in the mid 80s. I said, they had their other moments of sucking, but they were really bad in the mid 80s. And a friend of mine just brought home those books called Playing Fantasy Football. And I was lucky enough to be working for a company at that time that had actual personal computers in 85. They had a little software called Lotus 123, which is what we now know as Microsoft Excel. And I was automatically first commissioner and have been for 37 years now. So we have pretty much, I think we have might have 6 or 7 of our original members, but still play touchdown only. It's, it's funny. It's like, people are like, and they always give me grief now because oh, you should win every year. You only won five times. And and my other buddy's won 6. And so he says he's the actual fantasy expert. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, dude, it's touchdown only. You can flip coins every week if we're going to draft. But anyway,
that's the beauty of it, right? Anyone can win. That's great.
Yeah.
And you play how you want to.
Yeah, that's it. And every time I bring up, why don't we play PPR? Why don't we change? Oh no, we got to keep tradition. I'm like, all right, fine. But at some point when they don't even track that anymore on Yahoo, we'll have to change something else.
Right.
I mean, they probably will still keep it. But anyway. All right. So guys, you guys started in fantasy, you're addicted. Now you're the GMs, you're running your own teams. You've been in it for a while. What brought you to this next step of Bettle? What got you involved in thinking about this? What year did it start? Talk us through the history of Bettle coming together and coming to fruition.
Sure. So I'll take this one. So Bettle started as a passion project of mine about 4 or so years ago, because of a lot of, again, I've been playing fantasy before then in a number of different formats, but the time that I put into it compared to what I get out of it just didn't equate, right? I recognized that early on, but just the way my career kind of went, I didn't have an opportunity to do much there until over the past 4 years. So 4 or so years ago, that opportunity came about, right? Where again, we're trying to fill that need where you have this season-long team that you're investing hours a week into over the course of a long-term season, right? That there's just such a limited opportunity to find a return in that thing, right? So over the course of a 6-month season or whatever it is for baseball, football, there's so many things that can go wrong to derail your chances to win with that team, right?
Right.
And ultimately, that prize at the end of the season is typically pretty small, right? It's not small, but your chance to win it is limited, right? It's typically one prize, maybe a second or a third place prize as well. And then the opportunity to do something with that team outside of that group of my 12 high school friends that I was talking about, who I started playing this with, just wasn't there. And again, there are hundreds of thousands of these leagues out there playing the same game. And going back to when I started, when I mentioned it becoming popular, what I really mentioned is when the ESPNs and Yahoos of the world came about, and it became popular digitally, right?
Right.
So Bettle, ultimately, we decided to build a platform that kind of allows you to do more with that season-long team. So we've built a platform that now kind of sits at the intersection of fantasy sports betting, and social connectivity that allows you to take that team that, again, you invest so much time into, to try to find a little bit more return out of it. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. So you import that team from the platform that you play on onto our platform, and you can play weekly for real money against other people, both within your league. But our flagship product is outside of your league, in our arena, where you can take that team, again, that you invest all this time into, and play against other people in other leagues. We've standardized the scoring and the contest structure in a way that, again, you can take that team and play against other people. So whether you have a juggernaut that you're trying to squeeze some more juice out of, or you have a team that, again, got derailed because your star player got injured, or your season-long schedule just stinks, so you're just not going to win any money there, we provide you that outlet to try to squeeze some juice out of that team.
Cool. Dan, any more insight on what he said?
Well, I think one of the things that is a wrinkle to the story too here is that, so Ty and I used to work together. That's how we, like, years ago at this point, we sat next to each other every day, and we'd spend way too much time during and after the workday, like talking about our teams and like trades and all this other stuff that we were doing. And clearly we were both passionate about it, but like, we weren't in the same league. Like, we only met through work, and we became close through that, but like, we weren't in the same leagues. We couldn't play each other. We could say whatever we wanted, but there was no way for us to like actually engage with each other. And that was like a pain point for us, right? At that stage, like, why shouldn't we be able to do more with that? Why can't we do that? So, there was maybe a little bit of like that competitive fire in each of us too, that like led us to wanting to go really build this and do more with it. So, Ty and I have become close and have a really great relationship since then. But, as we've grown Bettle and started to play each other now more in fantasy contexts, we're building a little rivalry here too. That's kind of
Nice.
what we're trying to support here. So,
are you guys programmers in by day? Is that no?
Non-technical. We're on we're both product managers, digital product managers by nature. So we both have worked in the industry leading teams of developers building products very similar to what we built here.
A little bit easier for you to get started versus a freaking accountant trying to figure this out.
Ty likes to say we know enough to be dangerous, but not enough to cause any damage. So I think that's kind of that's the sweet spot there.
Yeah.
Right. I gotcha. So, just help people understand. So how do they get on Bettle? Now, granted, can you do all sports or is it just for football? Or tell people how they can get involved. Now, baseball season is kicking off next week. Obviously, there are going to be people in their fantasy baseball, leagues and ads. So tell people how they can get involved with at least fantasy baseball if they're playing with the Bettle app, if the app and log on online. How do they get involved?
Dan, go ahead and take this one since you're a go-to-market guy.
Yeah, so this timing here is perfect because our baseball product is getting ready to fully launch for opening day next week. So realistically, the best experience is through our apps. You can download us on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. We have a web product too. If you want to, if you want to go through your desktop, you can do that. But once you either download the app or create an account through our site, the next step is you just import your baseball team. Right now, Yahoo and ESPN, we're working on building out a few other platforms for later in the season. But starting with Yahoo and ESPN, you can import those teams. It takes 5 to 15 seconds usually to import your teams. In most cases, it's just a couple of clicks and then we process, and then your lineup is on Bettle. From there, you can set your lineup. You can go view sort of your team construction, your schedule, make sure you've got the right matchup set for that week. And once you've done that, enter the arena, select the time frame you're going to play in, and you can start. The structure that we've built once you're in the arena is designed to evoke a dating app, right? We want it to feel playful and fun and exciting, right? So you get in, if you see a lineup you like, you swipe right, you set the terms for the match, whether it's $5, $100 free, you can just play for fun. You don't have to put money down. But once you do that, set the terms, send it out, and then someone can choose whether or not they like what they see, so to speak, right? On the flip side, if you don't like it, you swipe left, you move on to the next, and you can kind of just cycle through everybody in the arena, right? Standardize the scoring here to try and make it a little bit more of a level playing field.
Right.
There's no one size fits all necessarily for everybody, but we did our best to find a format that we think will work and create a fair matchup for just about everybody in the experience. And the goal is to go out there and have fun with it, right? Play in 1, play in 10, however many you want to play in a week, in addition to what you've got going on in your season-long leagues. It's super easy. You can get through a dozen lineups in 2 minutes and have a couple of extra matches going for the week.
So then it's not daily, it's a weekly competition, or can you do dailies?
You can send out a new match every day. Right now, the time frame that we've set for baseball is to mirror kind of what you see in your season long, which is typically like a week-long match.
Okay, like a head-to-head type thing. Okay.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. But you can send one out on Monday, you can send one out on Wednesday, and it'd be rolling 7-day periods.
Okay. I got you. So it's not just a Sunday to Saturday kind of thing or a Monday to Sunday. It's a rolling.
If you're jonesing for a little more midweek, you can go get a little more action. But
just to be make sure I understand, you have to be playing in a fantasy league in Yahoo or ESPN. You can't just go on and play. You can't just pick your own lineups in your game and play against somebody else, or can you?
Not right now. So it's all through Yahoo and ESPN, and eventually.
So people understood it's not a DFS where you're picking your own lineups every day. You have to have a fantasy league team that you're going to be playing against.
It's basically taking that season-long team that you curated into a DFS type environment where you can play in a weekly or daily.
Yeah, I can't wait for football season. Try this out now. I'm in 30 leagues, so I can just bring. Well, I'm only. Let's see, but how many Yahoo and ESPNs am I?
You have to have 1 or 2 good ones there, Bob.
Yeah. For football, we have sleep support with Sleeper as well. So
you have Sleeper as well. Okay.
Yeah.
I have. So our Kings Classics on ESPN, so that we can do those, and then I've got a bunch of sleepers.
We're looking into some of the more niche sites too, especially for baseball. We're finding a lot more of the hardcore baseball players play on some of the higher stakes sites and things like that we're looking to integrate with. So, plans to integrate with other sites, plans to integrate other sports, different contest types, on top of what Dan mentioned in the future too. So, again, a lot of opportunities. Again, all within that realm of using that season-long team today.
Yeah,
to do more.
I love the idea. It's great. That's why I want to get you guys on so you can tell everybody about it. And for the baseball guys out there,
we're giving away free money too to get started up.
Wait a minute. Is there a code we should pass out?
Everyone sign up and we just credit everybody's account so they get a couple of free plays. Yeah, we're gonna roll out some deposit matches as well. Like we've got some cool stuff coming. So definitely get in there.
Gotcha. Now that's super cool. So
you'll be able to follow us on Bettle. I'm sorry, on Twitter at Bettle Fantasy. That'll be a good place to check out our codes.
It's BETTLE. Because there's Better Fantasy and there's it's just so many. So you got to make sure you gotta spell it out so everybody knows it is
BETTLE.
Yeah, look for the B logo. That's the key.
Right. There's a lot of
unfortunately
BT and some other few letters behind it that are dominating the airways. That's for sure out there, but definitely get that, folks. So we're heading towards the 2023 Expo. You guys have not been there before, but how did you find out about it? What got you involved? What got you intrigued to reach out to me to become an exhibitor for this upcoming year? Yeah,
I'll take that one. So when we launched our football product in the fall, we was very much like MVP. We were working with a few folks to start building our name out there and get some feedback and build our audience. One of the tactics we took was to reach out to some creators, some writers and bloggers and things like that have Twitter presence. I must have talked to at least 5 or 6 people in the first 2 weeks of doing this that said, "Oh, you got to talk to Bob. Bob is the guy at Fantasy Football Expo. You got to go. He's the best. Like, you got to do it." So that was kind of the first that I mean, I had heard of it in other, in other circles, but that was the first time where I was like, all right, we really got to get on Bob's good side. We got to be buddies with Bob.
Everybody's on my good side.
Well, I was about to say, it's not a hard thing to do. You're the nicest guy in the world. But from there, I mean, that was kind of the entry point. And once, you and I chatted about it and we learned a little bit more about the expo itself, the kinds of things that you do, the audience that you guys tend to attract, like, it was just a no-brainer for us, right? Like a big part of our ethos as a company is leaning into the excitement and fun part of fantasy sports and the social side, right? Like we have social tools built into our products so you can chat with people that you're playing and all that good stuff. And just the idea of getting, hundreds and hundreds of fantasy football enthusiasts in the same place in Canton, Ohio, right? Which is like football mecca. Right. It was just, it was just kind of the perfect blend of everything that we want to be a part of. So that's why I was excited to reach out and get in touch with you and excited that we're here and doing this. Yeah, right. So let's talk about now 2023's Expo coming up. You guys are going to be an exhibitor. I think you guys are also going to do one of the breakout sessions, right? I think you're going to. So you're going to promote your app to all the folks there. What do you got planned for these folks? What exciting things should they be looking for when they come to your booth or when they come to your session at the expo? Talk about what you guys have got planned for their experience of Bettle at the expo. Yeah, well, I don't want to brag or speak too soon, but in my opinion, like we have some of like the best swag in the game. Like we have, all right. We love our branding. We love our logo. Like, we're biased, but what we have is awesome, we think. So there'll be tons of cool swag. We've got great sweatshirts. So we're going to be doing contests and giveaways and things like that. We're going to do some like we got some things that we're planning. So we got some more stuff in the works, but we're going to do some live tutorials. We're going to get some fun competitions going with the product to tie it in so people know how it works. We're going to do some like draft evaluate, like, people are going to be starting to draft around that time. So do some draft preview and strategy tips. So we're going to make it educational, but fun. We're going to do some giveaways. We got a few other things that we're cooking up too. It's going to be a good time. Ty, what do you got planned?
I mean, that's it, man. That's our story right there.
Now, what are you doing?
at the event, I'm going to be playing in the flag football tournament. And
I was about to say we're gonna
that.
dominate that too.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, so this year we had to switch the flag football to double elimination because a lot of people last year, or at least a number of teams, didn't really understand the way the game was played. So I don't know if you know, and maybe we talked through this when we've had our conversations, but it's kind of a modified flag football. We kind of play it like an overtime in college. So each team gets to start at the 35, and you've got 4 plays to either get in the end zone or get as many yards as you want. And then after those 4 plays, or you score, then the other team goes, right? Well, I guess a lot of people didn't think this through, and a number of them threw a bomb on the first play and got intercepted.
Yeah.
And so therefore all the other team had to do was get 1 yard and it was over. So a lot of people said, we need to have double elimination. I said, well, first off, you need to be smarter about your strategies when you're on the field.
Yeah.
Number 2, we'll do double elimination because it did go really fast because there were a lot of teams that went down real quick. NBC Sports is one of them, and Denny Carter was a quarterback. And every time I have him on, I mentioned the fact that, hey, Denny, you know what you probably shouldn't do next time? Don't throw a bomb on the first play.
Yeah. People are going to start. People are like, people are probably drawing the plays. They're getting their playbooks ready.
Well, yeah, but every play they were trying to get it all in one swoop. And I'm like, guys, you got 4 plays.
Be strategic.
What's like that? Maybe you can't name names, but who gets like the spiciest out there? Like who gets the most competitive during these games?
Oh, do you guys know who Curtis Patrick is?
Mm-hmm.
RotoViz?
Yeah. Okay. Keep an eye out. We'll have to keep an eye out. Right?
Of course, Matt Walsh from Trophy Smack is very intense.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
He's intense when he plays beer pong, so you can imagine. Or especially
foosball,
cornhole,
foosball. Thank you, foosball. That was cornhole. So don't even. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Right. Yeah. So I won. Me and my partner won the cornhole competition on the Friday night party last year. So I have vowed to retire as champion and let somebody else win because I don't want to dominate again this year. So,
all right. Maybe we'll get like an exhibition
talk about, there was some kind of collusion, but we just throw that out. They all got their back.
Okay. All right. I'm starting to get a sense here. I'm excited.
I love it. I just want to jump in. I mean, I was half kidding about that answer with flag football. I'm super excited for that too. But just I think, like I said, I think Dan covered what we're trying to accomplish in terms of getting our brand out there. But from my position in the company, you guys have a ton of huge fantasy sports companies that are going to be there as well. So it's all about continuing to build those partnerships and just get our name out there. So
right.
That's going to be a huge opportunity.
So for any people who are listening that have websites, content creators, do you guys have an affiliation program?
We do.
Yeah. We're building. I mean, we're taking the approach that like we're building our business through creators, right? Like we want to be a part of this industry in a meaningful way. And we started working with affiliate creators in the fall. We're going to continue to do so for baseball. And we want to work with people that like align with our vision and mission, but also like believe in the product and have an audience that wants to continue to expand. So we're very much building through that. So yeah, please reach out to us on Twitter. It's probably the best place. Honestly, I'm on there all day, every day. But yeah, that's a huge part of how we're trying to build. And again, like we want to be part of this industry. We want to work with people and help support them in addition to them supporting us. So very much a two-way relationship.
Any content creators out there trying to get started in this space? Let's talk. I mean, there's a two-way street here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think you'll find, and probably the reason why everybody said you need to come to the expo was because it is the perfect storm for you guys. There's lots of fans there that want to play something different, something unique. And this is obviously very, very cool and very unique for them to get involved. But there's also, as you mentioned, a lot of content creators, a lot of big sites, all the best in the country come to do the Kings Classic. So, the ESPN and Yahoo's and CBS and all those guys are there. So, you'll have that opportunity to talk to them. And for anybody out there that's thinking about getting an exhibitor booth, kind of preaching to you as well. This is the perfect time. You don't get this opportunity to really have that perfect 1-2 punch. If you go to FSGA, you're just going to meet the site people and you're not going to really meet the fans. The sites will be interested in you, but there's no fans to be the activators. At the Fantasy Football Expo, you're going to get the best of both worlds. And to be honest with you, and I always say them, just because we're content creators doesn't mean we can't be fans. Because obviously I'm a fan of your guys' app and I can't wait to get it and, download it and use it. But, just because we're content creators doesn't mean we can't be fans of everybody else. I mean, there's people that buy my consistency guide every year and they're all content creators and they love the guide and I appreciate that and they buy it and I buy some of their stuff. So, we're all fans of each other. We're all supporters of each other. And that's what's so great about this community. And if you haven't seen it before, you will definitely feel it at the expo. That's usually the biggest thing that everybody says is just the community, the camaraderie, the love. People, because I'll get people that'll want to come to the expo like, well, I'm on Twitter. I see a lot of hate and there's a lot of trolls and there's guess what? Guess who doesn't come to this event? Those people, because they know better. Right.
Yeah. Even at FSG, I mean, yeah, we're still obviously relatively, new in this space, but even just in the little time that we've been like, just echoing that point, Bob, like everyone has been unbelievably helpful, friendly, welcoming, open to, having a conversation or advice or whatever. Even on the operator side, like everybody's learning from each other.
FSGA,
right?
They're just, right.
It's great, right? There's this like strong sense of camaraderie throughout the industry, and like the expo is going to be that like on steroids, no doubt about it. And that's, again, like why we wanted to integrate ourselves here and be part of that community, because it is, pretty special and yeah. And like another, one more call to arms for people. If anyone's listening, that can help us with like coach me up on like how to create awesome TikToks, or better yet, if you want to come create videos with us, like, yes, we love TikTok, but we're just a little past that generation. So,
you imagine how I feel?
Yeah. It's like,
I didn't even try.
It's a powerful tool, but yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm swimming in deep waters there. So if anyone wants to come help us out, we could use it. So reach out for sure.
Sure, there's a lot of good people out there that do that. So, all right, well, gentlemen, thank you again for being a part of this. Why don't each of you just mention, how to follow Bettle, you guys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you got it, things, and then we'll take it out from there.
Yeah, Bettle.co is our website. You can find us in, like I said, the Apple and Google Play app stores at Bettle Fantasy Sports. Our social handles are the same across major platforms. Just keeps it simple. It's Bettle Fantasy on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, where we're building and growing. So definitely come find us there, and yeah, follow us, reach out, please. Like, even if you just want to chat or learn more about what we're doing or have a conversation, we're more than happy to do that and continue to grow our presence here. So anything I missed, Ty? Anything I forgot?
Nailed it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you guys. So for Ty Masterson and for Dan Gentile of Bettle, thank you again for listening to this week's show. Of course, if you want to go to the Fantasy Football Expo, which we obviously wanted to meet you there, just go to thefantasyfootballexpo.com, buy your tickets, lock them in now. Prices will go up in May, but, might as well get them early. And if you want to be an exhibitor, certainly hit us up there as well, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. So, guys, thanks again for being on. Everybody take care. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, everybody. Do you want to continue to learn more about the Fantasy Football Expo? Well, then subscribe to our channel so you don't miss an episode. Expo registration is now open, so make sure you visit thefantasyfootballexpo.com to get your tickets now, and come and experience fantasy football's greatest weekend in Canton, Ohio this August 11th through the 13th.